Hello all. Today we will discuss Victorian period. It is the period between the Great Reform Bill of 1832 and the end of the 19th century. After the death of King William IV in 1837, his niece Victoria was given the title the Queen of England in 1837. Her reign lasted almost 64 years till her death in 1901. She was the second longest reigning monarch in the history of England. It was an age of political peace and economic prosperity. Victoria ascended the throne at the age of 18. 3 years later, she married Albert, a German prince. The couple had 9 children. They each saw incredible advances in all areas of life. Historians often subdivide the long period into 3 phases: early Victorian, mid-Victorian, and late Victorian. During the Victorian era, Britain expanded its territory throughout the world and became the largest, the richest, and the most powerful empire in world history. It was an age of reforms. The first reform bill was introduced during the reign of William IV. There were many defects in the system of election, and Parliament was not a truly representative body. The new towns that had sprung up as a result of the Industrial Revolution had no right to send their representatives to Parliament, whereas some deserted and depopulated places were represented. The number of voters was very small, and the landowners mostly controlled elections. The first reform bill was introduced during the ministry of Lord Grey. It was passed in 1832, and as a result of which, Parliament became more representative and political power was transferred from the landholders to the middle class people. This act was the first attempt towards parliamentary reform. It was Benjamin Disraeli who introduced the Second Reform Act in 1867, which gave the vote to many working men in the towns and increased the number of voters. The Third Reform Act was passed in 1884 by Gladstone. It gave voting right to the agricultural labourers by making the franchise in the counties. These Reform Acts made England a real democracy. The Secret Ballot Act and the Corrupt and Illegal Practices Act were other important 19th century measures of electoral reform. Industrial Revolution reached new heights, and this had great economic and social consequences. Manufacturing cities were overcrowded and dirty. Men, women, and children worked long hours in terrible conditions. People finally began to be concerned with these conditions, and several laws were enacted to reduce working hours and to clean up the cities. A series of factory acts from 1830s onwards progressively limited the number of hours that women and children could be expected to work. The Chimney Sweepers Act 1834 was an act of Parliament passed to stop child labour. It was an attempt to protect the children employed by the sweeping masters from cruel exploitation. The Act for the Regulation of Chimney Sweepers was finally passed by the English Parliament in 1864, and it put an end to child chimney sweeps in the country. The Mine Act of 1842 prohibited females and children under 9 from working below ground in mines. The Factory Act of 1867 brought any workplace employing more than 50 persons in manufacture under the Factory Acts. The Education Act of 1876 made school attendance compulsory for those up to the age of 10. The Trade Union Act of 1871 was an act of the Parliament of the United Kingdom which legalized trade unions for the first time in the United Kingdom. The act, introduced by William Gladstone's Liberal government, established the legal status of trade unions. This act was one of the earliest pieces of collective labor law ever enacted. Following a severe cholera outbreak across the world, social reformer Edwin Chadwick was commissioned to find ways of improving disease prevention and sanitary conditions in Britain. This study led to the creation of the Public Health Act of 1848 legislation that placed the supply and treatment of water and waste. This was also a time of new discoveries. Advances in technology, transportation, and medicine made life very comfortable. Revolutionary changes took place in transport and communication. Expansion of the railways meant that people could travel faster. The post and telegraph also developed and brought great benefits to the people. The penny postal system revolutionized communications in the UK. Before that, letters were paid for by the recipient. With this new method, anyone could send a letter to anywhere within the UK for a penny. Communication was made easier when the electric telegraph was developed in 1858, followed by the invention of telephone. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell received a patent for his invention of the telephone. There was considerable advancement in the field of medical science. The use of chloroform, popularized by Dr. James Young Simpson, dispelled the terror of surgical operation. The development of the antiseptic system by Joseph Lister, a British surgeon, made surgery safer, saving many lives. One of the major features of the 19th century life was the conflict between religion and science. Charles Darwin, a leading British biologist and naturalist, published The Origin of Species in 1859. His theory of evolution contradicted the account of man's origin as given in the Bible. As a result of the industrial and scientific progress, people began to lose faith in God and religion. The term Oxford Movement is often used to describe the Catholic revival in the Church of England. It was fundamentally a movement for religious reform. It is called Oxford because some Oxford professors and scholars were the force at the back of it. One of its aims was to rehabilitate the dignity of the Church and to deliver it from the grasp of secular authority. This movement is also called Tractarianism movement as it was carried out through the tracts and pamphlets. The Fabian Society was founded in 1883. It consisted of educated men like Mrs. and Mr. Sidney Webb, George Bernard Shaw, and so on. It included many liberals who held moderate theoretical socialistic view. The Fabian Society favored peaceful means to achieve socialism. The literature of the period reflects the spirit of Victorian England. The period is marked by a spirit of inquiry and criticism, skepticism and religious uncertainty. The most eminent poets of the period were Tennyson, Browning, Arnold and others. Alfred Lord Tennyson succeeded Wordsworth as poet laureate in 1850. In 1830, Tennyson published poems chiefly lyrical, and in 1832 published a second volume entitled Poems. In 1851 published the first poems of Idylls of the Kings. He had also written 3 historical dramas, Queen Mary, Harold and Becket. Robert Browning is best known for his dramatic monologues. The dramatic monologue became one of the most popular gifts of Victorian poetry to English literature. Dramatic monologue refers to a type of poetry in which the speaker addresses a silent listener. Browning popularized dramatic monologue in most of his works, such as My Last Duchess, Men and Women, and such others. Pauline, a fragment of a confession, is the first published poem by Browning. In 1842, he published a book entitled Dramatic Lyrics, which was a famous work that contained a collection of dramatic monologues. In 1855, Browning published Men and Women, a collection of 51 poems. In 1864, published Dramatis Personae. His Ring and the Book is a 12-book series of monologues. Browning died on the same day that his final volume of verse, Asolando, Fancies and Facts, was published in 1889. Matthew Arnold is regarded as the greatest elegiac poet of England. Rugby Chapel, Thyrsis, Scholar Gypsy, Dover Beach, etc. are some of his finest elegies. Elizabeth Barrett Browning was a renowned poet of the Victorian period. She was the first woman to be nominated for Poet Laureate after the death of William Wordsworth. However, Tennyson was chosen to fill the post vacated by Wordsworth. In 1846, she got married to poet Robert Browning. Her first major collection, The Seraphim and Other Poems, was published in 1838. Another collection, Poems, was published in 1844 and warmly received. In 1850, she published Sonnets from the Portuguese, a collection of 44 love sonnets that became one of her most famous works and is considered as one of the greatest sequences of sonnets in history. In 1857, her blank verse novel, Aurora Leigh, became a bestseller. Christina Georgina Rossetti was a noted poet of the period. Her works include Goblin Market and Other Poems, The Princess Progress and Other Poems, A Pageant and Other Poems, and The Face of the Deep, a devotional commentary on the Apocalypse. In the Bleak Midwinter or A Christmas Carol, was first published in 1872 and is one of her best-known short poems. Gerard Manley Hopkins is one of the greatest poets of the Victorian era. His works were unknown to the public during his lifetime. His friend Robert Bridges introduced Hopkins' verse first. The Windover to Christ our Lord is the most daring sprung rhythm sonnet by Hopkins. Famous novelists from this period include Charles Dickens, William Thackeray, the Bronte sisters, George Eliot, Thomas Hardy, and others. Charles Dickens is one of the most striking figures in the history of English literature. He began his literary career in 1833 when he started contributing a series of sketches and impressions to magazines and newspapers using Bose as his pen name. Dickens' first novel, The Pickwick Papers, was published serially from 1836 to 37 under the pseudonym Bose and in book form in 1837. His second novel, Oliver Twist, was published serially from 1837 to 39 and as a 3-volume book in 1838. It follows the life of an orphan living in the streets. The Life and Adventures of Nicholas Nickleby is the third novel published serially from 1838 to 39 and was published in book form in 1839. In 1843, published A Christmas Carol. He published David Copperfield serially from 1849 to 50 and in book form in 1850. It is observed as a semi-autobiographical work. In this, Dickens treats the evils of child labor. The novel Bleak House was published serially from 1852 to 53 and in book form in 1853. In 1859, Dickens published A Tale of Two Cities, a historical novel that takes place during the French Revolution in Paris and London. Great Expectations was published serially from 1860 to 61 and published in book form in 1861. Our Mutual Friend is the last novel completed by Dickens, published serially from 1864 to 65 and published in book form in 1865. Dickens was concerned with the plight of children in the Industrial Revolution, as can be seen in several of his works. Other important novelists of the period are Bronte sisters. The Bronte sisters, Charlotte, Emily, and Anne, made notable contributions to the English novel. Like many female writers of the period, the sisters originally published their poems and novels under male pseudonym Carol Bell, Ellis Bell, and Acton Bell. Charlotte's most famous work is Jane Eyre. Emily's novel Wuthering Heights is considered as a classic of English literature. Anne's best-known work is Agnes Grey. George Eliot was the pen name used by the English novelist Mary Ann Evans. Eliot published her first novel, Adam Bede, in 1859. Her The Mill on the Floors was published in 3 volumes. In 1861, Eliot published a short novel, Silas Marner. She wrote a historical novel, Romola, set in Renaissance Florence. Her masterpiece, Middlemarch, A Study of Provincial Life, was published in 8 volumes. Her last novel was Daniel Deronda. William Makepeace Thackeray was known best for his satirical works. Vanity Fair is a classic novel by Thackeray, first published in serialized form in the magazine Punch in 1847. The History of Henry Esmond is a historical novel by Thackeray set in the 18th century. Another great among the Victorian novelists is Thomas Hardy. His works include Tess of the D'Urbervilles, Far from the Madding Crowd, Jude the Obscure, The Return of the Native, and The Mayor of Casterbridge. Hardy's novels are all set in the fictitious landscape called Wessex. Anthony Trollope wrote a series of novels that chronicle the everyday life of middle-class Victorians. Trollope's Barchester Towers, published in 3 volumes in 1857. Elizabeth Gaskell wrote many vivid and warm-hearted short stories and novellas, of which the finest is said to be Cousin Phyllis. Others include Cranford, Ruth, North and South, Sylvia's Lovers, and finally Wives and Daughters. George Meredith was one of the intellectual novelists. The Egoist is his masterpiece. Samuel Butler published a variety of works including his satirical novel Erewhon and The Way of All Flesh. Charles Lutwidge Dodson is better known by the pen name Lewis Carroll. Although he was a mathematician, he is best known as the author of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. William Wilkie Collins was an English novelist, playwright and short story writer, best known for works like The Woman in White and The Moonstone. In the year 1848, a few young artists and writers united to oppose the academic approach to art. As an act of homage to the simple sincerity of the early Italian painters, they called themselves the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. The Brotherhood had its magazine, The Germ, Thoughts Towards Nature in Poetry, Literature and Art. Dante Gabriel Rossetti was regarded as the leader of the movement. There were 11 poems contributed by Rossetti himself and 7 lyrics by his sister Christina Rossetti. Simplicity in art, pictorial quality, love of the Middle Ages are the general characteristics of Pre-Raphaelite poetry. Rossetti, Swinburne and Morris are the other members of the group. Dante Gabriel Rossetti was remarkable both as a painter and as a poet. His first volume of poems was published in 1870 under the title Poems by D.G. Rossetti. His last volume, Ballads and Sonnets, appeared in 1881. William Morris was deeply influenced by Rossetti. He contributed works like The Hollow Land, The Story of the Unknown Church, etc. A.C. Swinburne's notable works include Atalanta in Calydon, Poems and Ballads, A Song of Italy, and Tristram of Lyonesse. Much of Swinburne's best criticism was collected in Essays and Studies. The period produced great essayists like Macaulay, Carlyle, Ruskin, Arnold, and Walter Pater. Thomas Babington Macaulay was a non-essayist. His chief work is History of England from the Accession of James II in 5 volumes. This is definitely the greatest piece of historical writing in the English language. Arnold was another important writer of the period. Essays in Criticism, Culture and Anarchy, prefers to 1853 poems are some of his major works in prose. He is well known as a critic. Thomas Carlyle was a many-sided genius. His first work was Life of Schiller, published in 1825. His French Revolution was published in 1837, and his Heroes and Hero Worship in 1841. The social and industrial conditions of the time prompted him to write Past and Present in 1843. His last work of importance was The History of Frederick the Great in 2 volumes. His most ambitious philosophical work is Sartor Resartus. John Ruskin was one of the greatest prose writers of the Victorian period. His most popular book, Sesame and Lilies, was a byproduct of his thinking on political economy. Walter Pater is remembered for his Studies in the History of the Renaissance, a book at the front of the aesthetic movement which advocated art for art's sake. His other works include Marius the Epicurean, Imaginary Portraits, and Plato and Platonism. Cardinal Newman was another Victorian writer. Lead Kindly Light is his famous devotional poem. Oscar Wilde was a popular literary figure in late Victorian England. Some of his most famous works include The Importance of Being Earnest and The Picture of Dorian Gray. Queen Victoria died at the age of 81 in 1901. She was succeeded by her son, Prince Albert Edward, who took the throne as King Edward VII. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.